Can one word really change your results? Yes, in a word. So let me share with you an experience I had with a mentee in group coaching that I think will point that out. So we were talking about interviewing financial institutions. Again, it's important to follow the steps, so make sure you have your industry, you have your board, you have your professionals. Now you're ready to talk to financial institutions. Why? To find out what a financial institution will do, number one, but as important, what multiples they will support with respect to multiples of EBITDA, so you know how to put together a letter of intent, an LOI. So I had a mentee, who is at that stage. And in one of the group calls, he said, every single bank I talk to ends up asking me where the equity is coming from. Where's our equity? Okay? So I said, well, tell me what you say. And he said, well, I say exactly what you said. Okay, well, tell me what that is. So he said, first I ask, are they lending in our industry? That's a go, no go. If they're not, obviously, maybe they would have a referral, but for the most part, that's a no. You're going to move on next. Two, I ask them what multiple of EBITDA they support with respect to purchase price. Okay. And then I ask them where the bank is in this, meaning, will you lend 100% of the purchase price? What percentage will you? And then that question usually should lead into how you're going to do this, how you're going to structure it, and seller or vendor, depending upon where you are in the world, notes and equity. So I said, what do you say about that? He said, I say exactly what you said. What is that? He said, well, I explained why we're doing a partial sale, or at least having vendor or seller notes. We want to keep the business continuously going the way it was. That means keeping the owner around for some period of time because of relationships with customers, employees, suppliers, etc. Okay. And so I explained that to them. That seems to be okay. And then I say that some banks have said that the seller or vendor note or equity can count as part of our equity. And what's your bank's position on that? I said, that's not exactly what I said. You introduced the word part. And when you say part, that means there's another part. And every single bank followed up on that. Okay, so where's your equity if the seller is part of it? So when we talked on the call, I said, just do whatever you're doing, but eliminate the word part. He did that. And next week in the call, he said, I did that. I eliminated the word part and came back that none of the banks asked about our equity in the deal. So it's important to understand how to do things. It's important to understand the templates. If you have the acquisition advantage, you are going to have some of those. I am a big fan of bullet points rather than exact word templates, because most of the time if someone's heard it before, they'll go, oh, heard that before. So the bullet points are important, and to have it genuinely sound like you are talking rather than you're reading a template. But one of the advantages of the Acquisition Advantage Bootcamp is the ability to join the once a month live Q&A with me. That's where you could ask a question like that. This is what I did and it's not working. But one word can change the results. One mistake you can correct that'll change the results, etc., etc. If you're wondering how to start this process, certainly the Acquisition Advantage Bootcamp is one of those. That's the latest I've done on how to go through these steps, what has worked, what hasn't worked, changes that we've put together. And then if you want to go over to brucewhipple.com, grab those free conversation starters. A lot of people wonder, how am I going to get started? That's a good place to learn how to do that. If you want to go there directly and not to the website, just go to brucewhipple.com/get class. One thing I would tell you is, and it's happened twice this week, if you request that free class, check your spam or junk filter. More and more spam and junk filters with a link in it will push it off to the spam. And in both those cases, I never got it. I said, did you check your junk and spam filter, which most of us don't do, including myself, unfortunately. They did that and they came back and said, yes, it's there. So remember, one word can change things. If you are getting the same result over and over that you don't like, stop. Understand what you're doing that's not working. A lot of times in group, that's what we discuss, or as I said in the live Q&A. So hope that helps. Again, next week is Thanksgiving. Take a few minutes to think about what you've accomplished and what you're grateful for. That's time well spent. But keep pushing and keep taking action.